So as of the time of recording, we're about 10 days away from the release of James Gunn's Superman. And my god, are the Snyder cultists, the Snyder fans, the Snyder smexuals desperate to try and sink this movie. So to catch you up on the situation, ever since James Gunn kind of took over DC and scrapped the DCU to create his own DCU, there has been a train of hate towards him from Snyder fans who demand to restore the Snyderverse or to get James Gunn completely cancelled. And it's been a relentless train of hate. Like, I don't know how these guys find the time and energy to hate on someone so much, but it has been relentless from the moment that Henry Cavill got dropped as Superman and there was this new Superman project announced. It was previously named Superman Legacy. It's now been retitled to just Superman. And the hatred towards this movie and the wanting of this movie to fail from the Snyder Bros, from the Snyder cultists, has been immense. The funny thing is they don't like me calling them Snyder cultists because I previously made a video saying Snyder fans hate Superman Legacy. And they hate it when I call them cultists. But when you behave like cultists, when you sounds like a cult, when it acts like a cult, it is kind of a cult, and you guys are kind of cultists. But sure, you can hate me for calling you out for what you are. But back to the topic at hand, ever since James Gunn took over the DCU, it has been a storm of anti-Gunn propaganda, pro-Snyder propaganda, trying to point out where Gunn failed in his previous attempts with DC movies, completely ignoring the massive success that he has had with the Guardians trilogy, saying that no, that's not him, that's the MCU. Nah, you know, look at the Suicide Squad. It failed financially. Look at Peacemaker. It was not well received. I mean, these guys, not only are they like promoting propaganda and trying to twist statistics to their own ideas, they're also sometimes downright lying. So, for example, the Suicide Squad was released during the pandemic times. It had a good critical reception, but it didn't do well financially because not only was it released during the pandemic, I think it was released, I don't know if it was the same time or pretty quickly on streaming, on HBO Max or whatever it's being called now. And as for Peacemaker, when it was first released, I remember people loving it. It was one of the most beloved series on streaming that was at that time a part of the DCU, but now it will be retooled to be part of the DCU. And the thing is, the big problem with these guys' sort of criticism of James Gunn and the direction where he's planning to take the DCU, especially with the Superman movie, is it all boils down to childish insults or a complete lack of media literacy and a complete lack of understanding of Superman, the character itself. Like, ever since the first picture was released to the first trailer being released, the big thing that they keep making up about this Superman is that he has the underpants on the outside, right? Compared to Henry Cavill's Superman, which, you know, did not have the underpants, this one throws back to the original design of Superman having the underpants on the outside. But that has now suddenly become a major point of contention, a point where they can point out this movie is not serious. He's got undies on the outside and it's not going to be good because of that. And they boil it down to playground insults with diaper man memes. Look at me, I'm so smart, I came up with a diaper man meme. Like, come on, dude. Is that the best you can do? Playground insults? That's what's gonna bring down this movie? Or when they released the TV spot soon after of Superman flying and David Corenswet had a bit of a lazy eye. And again, it's just memes about that, you know, playground insults. That's the level of criticism we're dealing with from these Snyder cultists. Because they're picking moments, seconds, frames out of a movie to try and put it down. This movie might be 2 to 2.5 hours long, and there's been a compilation of the comedy or comedic scenes in this movie that have been shown off in trailers so far, which amounted to about 30 seconds. And that's supposed to be like a big hit against Superman. Like, this film's gonna be a comedy, it's not gonna be serious. It's nothing like Henry Cavill's Superman was like serious and for the big boys. No, dude, it's 30 seconds of some comedic moments in a 2-hour long film, probably. Might even be 2.5 hours. I don't know the runtime of the upcoming Superman film, but that is a fraction of time in a lot of movie that we haven't seen yet. And yes, the comedy in this film has been one of the main points of attack for the Snyder cultists, because again, they're trying to point out that Henry Cavill's Superman, that the DCEU Superman, that Zack Snyder's whole shtick was serious and, made for adults, and this is all, bright and colorful, and there's comedy. They have Crypto, and he's a naughty little dog, and that's not right. And Crypto's supposed to be a Labrador, even though his design has changed in the comics over time. And there's just so much nitpicking going on, but this just tells me you guys don't get the character of Superman, do you? It's like, Superman's supposed to be a god. No, he is the big blue Boy Scout. Yes, he has godlike powers, but he relates mostly to humans. That's why he chooses to use his powers to protect us, to save us. Zack Snyder's take on Superman is not a definitive take on the character. You can prefer it. I don't have a problem you say you prefer Henry Cavill in the role, you prefer his take on the character, you prefer Zack Snyder's take on the character. That's great, but again, you don't have to tear Corin Sweat and Gunn's Superman down to build up Cavill's Superman. Cavill's Superman, unfortunately, I can't say didn't get a fair chance. Cavill's Superman didn't get a fair chance, but that doesn't mean you have to tear down Corin Sweat's Superman. You gotta accept that as much as I like Henry Cavill's Superman, like, you may think from these videos I'm making, I hate Cavill's Superman, I hate the DCU. No, I kind of don't like the way Zack Snyder approached it, but I like Cavill as Superman, and he didn't get a fair shot. But that doesn't mean I'm ready to tear down James Gunn's take on Superman and David Corenswit's take on Superman, because Superman has had so many iterations throughout comics. You can't say that this is the definitive one. In fact, if I'm gonna be more serious about this, I'd say Corin Sweat is more Superman than Cavill is. Cavill is more similar to the Injustice Superman, whereas Corin Sweat's take on Superman, from what we've seen in trailers and TV spots so far, is more true to the character of Superman from the comics. So with little over a week till the release of the new Superman film, these Snyder cultists have become desperate. It's an all-out propaganda war against Superman, and the thing is, sometimes they're just outright lying. I've seen posts that say early screen tests have failed and this movie will doom James Gunn's DCU, that it's gonna be DOA, dead on arrival. And it's an outright lie, because I haven't heard from any reliable source anything bad about this movie. If this movie turns out to be a failure, which there's of course a chance it could be, I will hear it from critics that I trust, and then I will watch the movie on my own to make my own decisions. I will not allow a group of lifeless people with nothing better to do dictate how I feel about a film. If I go and watch this movie and it's shit, I will be right back here looking right into this camera and telling you that Superman movie is dog shit, don't see it, blah blah blah. But if it's good, I'm gonna tell you it's good, because that's the way I approach films. I want to formulate my own opinions. I may use other reviewers and critics as sort of a baseline to see what they look at and what they might find issue with the movie, or they might find good about a movie. But at the end of the day, I make up my own idea about the film. I make up my own impression about the film. And the thing is, if you go into the comment section of any of the promo material for this film, it's just filled with so much of this hate and this wanting for this movie to fail. Like, oh my god, this looks too bright and colorful, it's this is a sign it's definitely gonna fail. Gunn is finished. Like, the movie ain't even out, bro. Chill, right? I mean, even the Snyderverse subreddit has gotten James Gunn's attention because of a post that on the day of release, calling for Snyder friends to, I don't know, review bomb or try and affect the ticket sales of the movie, and that got shut down by the moderators of the Snyderverse subreddit itself. So yeah, the Snyder cult is desperate. They are so desperate for this to fail, and that's why I'm just hoping this movie succeeds, right? I'm hoping that Gunn brings us the Superman we've wanted for years now. Not just someone who is powerful, but someone who can relate to humanity, who is a symbol of hope for humanity. So yeah, that's it for my updated take on the Snyder cult versus the new Superman movie. Yeah, it's 10 days out from the release of the new Superman movie. I can't wait to watch it. I'm hoping it does well. And if it does well, I'll see you back here again. If it does badly, I will be back here to apologize and concede to the Snyder cult. Anyway, that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.